Hi everyone, it's Diane Brennan. Welcome to Dynamic Living with Diane. And today I want to talk to you about my non-toxic skincare routine. And so this is the routine with the products that I've used every day for over 20 years. And I'm in my 60s. Started this in my 40s. Now, why non-toxic ingredients are so important? Your skin is your absolute biggest organ. Everything that goes on it goes into your bloodstream and into your cells, and it affects your health. And it is one of those things that can absolutely age your skin. So it's extremely important. And, in the United States, there are several non-toxic ingredients that we allow that aren't allowed throughout the rest of the world. The European Union has banned, and this is a broad range, this is what I found online, 1,700 to 2,500 ingredients. I guess it depends on the country or the part of the world. Um, the US has only banned 11 or 12. Now, why is that? Why such a huge difference between here and Europe? Because here, one, we kind of have this attitude of if it hasn't been proven to be harmful, and the government allows companies to do their own research to determine whether something is harmful or not. By the way, this is not done by our government. This is done by the company producing the product. Whereas Europe says, you haven't proven to me it's safe. So in the US, even if we know it's harmful, companies know that it's harmful, they bury the research. Our government agencies that, one would think, like the FDA, that we'd think oversee this stuff, don't look. They don't ask. They don't care. On top of that, here we have a political system that allows career politicians, they don't have term limits, to line their pockets with money from lobbyists to protect the interests of these big companies that produce these things. So it's interesting to note that if there's a company, say like L'Oreal, that sells not only in the United States, but over in Europe, they're making two versions of everything. They're making one to sell here and Canada. Canada doesn't ban as much as the rest of the EU. They ban more than we do. They don't ban as much as the EU. So Canada's stuff is almost as dirty as ours. And one to sell over to the EU because it is cheaper for them, more profitable, to make the dirty version to sell here in the US, rather than make it clean and that's all, just one product, one version of every product. They don't do that. Just an interesting side note. So you can pay a small fortune to get non-toxic stuff. It's out there. You can search for it. I don't know a lot of the stuff that's out there because it's not something that, I have my stuff that I've been doing for 20 some years, so I haven't been keeping up. There are cosmetic companies now that make non-toxic ingredients. Like I stopped wearing cosmetics back in my 30s because I found out how toxic they were, and I wasn't wearing it every day. I was only wearing it for special occasions, and since that might happen once every 6 months to 12 months, it meant that for a lot of things, I had to replace them every single time I went to wear it. I'd get one use out of these expensive products. Even the cheaper stuff that you can buy in, Rite Aid and Walgreens. Still, that's a lot of waste, right? of my money. And so I stopped doing that, and I just stopped wearing makeup. I haven't worn makeup in almost 30 years. Like, I don't think my children have ever seen me that they remember in makeup. Um, so the cosmetics industry does include your shampoo, your conditioner, lotions, all of that stuff. And again, if you're putting it on your skin, and even shampoo, because when you put it on your hair, it's getting into your scalp, right? So it's still going into your skin. It goes down your skin and everything. So there's still skin exposure there. And healthy skin and hair are important. The older you get, the more important it becomes to keep it healthy, right? So listen, in my 40s, I started using, the first thing is washing head to toe with a very clean product. And I've tried some other things, and I always keep coming back to this, that I actually learned about from my younger sister, because she did a lot of backpacking and camping at that time, and she had started to use J.R. Leggett's shampoo bar. They also have a conditioning bar. I haven't used it. I just use the shampoo bar. Now, the ingredients on this, very, very simple. We have saponified olive oil, coconut oil, castor oil, essential oils of rose, lavender, and spearmint. That's it. That's what's in here. GMO free, by the way. I think that's a newer label to it. I don't remember that being on there before. But that's it. This is so clean and pure that backpackers and campers use it because it does not harm the flora and fauna in lakes and streams. So when they're out camping for long periods, they can go ahead and shampoo in whatever local water source there is and not harm the native animals and plants that are there. The second thing I use, and this is why I don't use their conditioning bar and why I've never really shopped for non-toxic conditioners. Now in the wintertime, I use the solid version, the full fat, extra virgin olive oil. This time of year, this is what I'm using. Or not olive oil, coconut oil, yeah. Anyway, I use coconut oil. So the extra virgin stuff in a big tub during the winter. The lighter, you can buy what's called cooking oil. That's what this one says, is cooking oil. MCT and fractionated coconut oil are all the exact same thing. 3 different names, one product, so you can use any of that. So you can buy MCT oil, you can buy a fractionated coconut oil or FCO, or this cooking oil. I like this one because it's organic. And I mean, this head to toe, this is what I use as my hair conditioner. It's what I use for all of my skin. And then the other thing that I use for just my like my face, my neck, and then that's it, just my face and neck, is this is the Carrier Rosehip Oil. Now this one's by Vitality. I'm going to buy Revives next time. Just a little bit better price point. It's like about half the price of Vitality. They're equally good. Price does not indicate the quality of your essential oil, just so you know. You got to look at their testing. Okay. If somebody wants a better video in more depth on choosing really good, clean, pure essential oils, let me know, because there are so many out there that claim therapeutic grade that are actually contaminated with pesticides and herbicides. Like, don't buy them from Walmart. Don't buy them at a health food store. The brands that are sold in stores of any kind, including health food stores, are contaminated. you want to buy them online. And so I use Vitality, I use Revive, and there's another company that has just reopened its doors, and I'm so happy, and that's Synergy. It used to be the Ananda Apothecary, and when Eric died, his widow closed the doors. She reopened them later as Synergy, kind of once she got through the grieving process and got her feet under her. And then she closed it because she moved to France. And she's remarried, and she and her husband are now reopening the Synergy store on the web store. Anyway, she's resourcing for oils, so selection is sometimes very limited compared to what there used to be when it was Ananda, and even originally as Synergy here in the US. But so 3 brands. Eden's Organics is another one. If it's important to you to shop from a women-owned business, Eden's Organics is women-owned. I have not tried their essential oils, but I know people that I trust who highly recommend them. I've looked at them. Again, their testing and their price point is extremely high quality, just like Revive. So I'm actually considering getting some oils from them as well and giving them a shot, giving them a try. And into this rosehip oil, what I put is frankincense and helichrysum. Now, this is a blend that Vitality had, and that's actually kind of why I ended up buying the pair together from Vitality, because they were the only company I found with this blend. But I didn't know I still had some frankincense oil. So when I run out of this, although that's going to take a while, I add about 10 to 15 drops of that into the rosehip. And then I blend it. And so basically every time I go to use it, I take the bottle and I do this. You don't ever want to shake. You want to just either circle it like this, or you want to do this to blend it in. Or kind of when it's full and it's new, I'll do this very gently. Okay. For the first 30 days, you want to do that every time before you use it, because you need to get that to actually synergize as a blend. And then for deodorant, this is what I have used for years. So Arm & Hammer Essentials, because the Arm & Hammer Essentials is the only one. Don't buy the regular Arm & Hammer. You have to get the Essentials, because that is the one that is free of aluminum, parabens, and phthalates. Okay. So this is the one you want to get. They have an unscented version. I can't find it locally here. I got this with the rosemary and lavender. I still have some unscented left. I'm trying really hard to find it. If I can't find it here, I may cross state line and go over and buy it where I know I can find it. Where I used to get it. Because it's summertime and I'm allergic to bee stings, so I'm very, very careful about anything with scent on me. That's why the frankincense and helichrysum doesn't have a strong scent, and the rosehip oil combined, like, that's not a very strong scent. That's why I don't buy any of the scented versions of the J.R. Leggett's. I buy this. It actually really doesn't have a smell other than like clean. I mean, those oils are not very strong in this. So it's not going to be heavily scented. It's just going to give you a really good clean. And this, it lathers up really, really well, and it rinses out very cleanly, very completely, and doesn't leave you oily. So I just wanted to do a really quick video today to share my non-toxic skincare routine with you, because that's so important, to make sure that what you're using directly on your skin, that's going directly into your cells, going directly into your bloodstream, is non-toxic, not full of plastics, which is what a lot of ingredients are, and not full of carcinogenic ingredients. So many products have them. Like, I won't touch hand sanitizer. There was only one brand I ever found that didn't have the one big carcinogenic ingredient that's in most of them, which without it in front of my face, I'm not going to try to say it. And it's also, that same ingredient is also in your antibacterial soaps. I don't use those. When I was in nursing school in anatomy and physiology, the one thing I really learned is hot water is what kills germs. Soap is simply an emollient, meaning it just gets dirt off of you. It does nothing for germs. The antibacterial ones are carcinogenic. I won't touch them. So, learn what's in the products you use. Research it. The information's out there. The internet is out there. If you don't know what an ingredient is in something you're using, look it up. Find out. Because we need to know this stuff. Politicians are not going to educate us. If you live in Europe, you're pretty safe. If you live here in the United States or you live in Canada, not so much. A lot of other countries are also safe. South American countries, a lot of them are very, very safe with their products. They ban a lot of the same things that the EU does. The UK bans a lot of things that the EU does, again, except for Canada. Our neighbor, not quite as dirty, close though. So be careful. Know what you're putting on and in your body. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something. And I wish you much love, much light, many, many blessings. Peace out.